I am still in my tender postpartum phase, and it's something that I couldn't have known about, couldn't have even spoken on until I actually went through it. In American society as a whole, most of us believe that 6 weeks is enough time for a woman to bounce back and get back to work after birth. Me, I'm still at home with my baby a year later, and I still feel undone. Not that anything is wrong with me, but because a year ago, I not only gave birth to a newborn, I became one. I entered a completely new body, a completely new rhythm, a completely new way of being in the world. And that doesn't sync with calendars, algorithms, or anyone else's expectations. I was graced with the ability to be a stay-at-home mom in this beautiful, tender season, and it has allowed me to move at my soul's pace instead of the world's pace. After having worked fast food, after having worked in a warehouse and a factory with assembly lines, after having completed a few years of active duty military service, this recalibration has been nothing short of radical for me. Because for the first time in my adult life, I am not living by the sound of a clock, a bell, or a supervisor's command. I am not being timed, measured, or evaluated by my output. The pace of my days is no longer dictated by deadlines or production goals, but by breath, hunger, and heartbeat, by cries, naps, and milk letdowns, by the quiet rhythm of a child discovering the world and a mother rediscovering herself. And yet, this slowness is not easy. It exposes how deeply capitalism trained my nervous system to equate rest with laziness, silence with failure, and softness with weakness. Even when my body is doing the holy labor of sustaining another life, nursing, nurturing, cleaning, comforting, some old part of me still whispers, you should be doing more. But do you know how much energy it actually takes to sustain a year of breastfeeding? To keep showing up through every nap regression, every teething night, every growth spurt. Even as my baby leans more towards solids, my body is still pouring out nourishment every day. Nutrients, calories, hormones, love. My metabolism, my hydration, my sleep, my emotions. Everything is in service to this sacred exchange. No one talks about the depths of how draining that is, yet how miraculous it is. How your bones ache differently now, how your joints still soften, how your hormones still surge and dip like tides, how your brain never fully rests because part of it is always listening for a cry, how your identity still flickers between the woman you were, the mother you're becoming, and the self that you haven't met yet. The truth is, a year postpartum is not a return, it is a crossing. It is the liminal space between the old and the new. It is where you start realizing that recovery is not linear. It is not predictable. It is not something that you can schedule between meetings or measure by milestones. It is quiet. It is slow. It is layered. Some days you feel like yourself again, sharp, creative, vibrant, and other days you're a fog of milk and emotion, barely remembering what time it is, body humming with both exhaustion and awe. It is a rhythm that defies logic, how you can feel full and empty, powerful and tender, healed and unraveling, all at once. In this space, I have learned that the postpartum years, if we're even going to measure it, is not a countdown to normal. It is an initiation into a whole new way of being. Your organs have shifted. Your hormones are composing a new song. Your bones are still remembering how to carry you. Your mind is still building bridges between the woman you were and the mother you were becoming. But society does not honor this kind of becoming. It is obsessed with bounce back instead of integration, with doing instead of digesting, with work instead of worth. It looks at a mother's still soft belly, her slower pace, her distracted mind, and calls it recovery when it's really resurrection. We forget that mothers are rebuilding entire ecosystems within themselves, endocrine, emotional, energetic. We forget that nurturing requires fuel, that breastfeeding alone demands nearly 500 extra calories a day, countless ounces of water, and an immeasurable emotional capacity. That stay at home is not stillness, it is sacred labor, unrecorded and unpaid. So, this recalibration for me has been a reclamation, a remembrance that my pace is holy, that tending to my daughter, to my home, to my body, it is not a pause in purpose, it is purpose. I am not falling behind, I am falling in rhythm. If the soil does not rush the flower to bloom before it is ready, if the moon doesn't apologize for waxing and waning, then why should I? This season has taught me that the real work isn't getting back to anything. It is learning how to live in tune with what is, to honor the body that still remembers the birth, to trust the slowness that keeps calling me inward, to understand that productivity in this season looks like presence, like nursing through the night, like catching my breath in between cries, like choosing peace over performance. This too is work. This too is worthy. This too is power.